Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kade, and in this video I want to answer to one of my most asked questions, which is like, why did I come back to Finland after my exchange year, and how on earth did I decided to redo my high school in Finland? Because yes, I will need to be very honest, I did in total 6 years of high school. Yes, you heard it right. 6 years of high school. And this was not an easy decision. Repeating the high school in Finland was not an easy decision, but also there were so many factors that influenced this decision. So it really requires a video for you to get the whole picture and not just think, oh, it was this one thing or it was this one other thing. And maybe if you know anyone that's like going through the same situation, maybe some exchange student that has been an exchange student somewhere and it's thinking that, okay, well, do I want to go back? Or even if you are just like yourself thinking of going on exchange and then thinking that you want a longer exchange, maybe this video is going to be helpful for you. As always, this video might be very long. I have that kind of feeling. Almost all of my videos are very long. So if you just want to jump to a specific part of the video, just look in the show notes. In the description below, you will find all of the timestamps and you can just jump to the part that you find the most interesting. So let's just get started. First of all, the first reason that made me want to come back to Finland and that made me want to repeat my entire high school, and well, not my entire high school, because actually I was in my third semester of high school in Mexico, which means that I was in the second year of high school. When I was already thinking that, okay, well, this was back in 2011, right after my exchange. So it was October 2011, and I was thinking that, okay, well, I did my exchange in Finland. I had just come back to Mexico, and I really wanted a longer exchange. Why? Because I had a blast in Finland. Like, I had the most amazing host families ever. I had the most amazing experiences in Finland, and I just felt that 1 year was not enough for me. I really wanted to, live in this magical wonderland for a little bit longer, experience Finland even more time. And I thought that, well, back in that time, I was thinking about studying university in Finland. So I thought like, well, university in Finland is like 3.5 years. So that would be like my longer exchange. That would make sense. And then things just changed along the way, but I'm going to get back to it. And so I just really, like, the main reason I wanted to come back to Finland was because I had a fabulous, fantastic exchange year in here. I was living 11 months in total. And the moment that I had to go back to Mexico, I was crying my ass off because I really didn't want to leave this country. I was like, could I just stay a little longer? And just to make it clear, it was not because I didn't want to go back to Mexico. It was simply because I just enjoyed so much living in Finland that I just wanted it for a tiny bit longer, please, if it's not much to ask. But anyway, so my first plan was to come back to Finland to study university, right? So it was October 2011 when this happened. All these ideas start coming to my brain. And I thought that, okay, well, I'm in my second year of high school. I'm going to soon be a third year student. It makes sense that I start researching beforehand. What are the conditions or the requirements for me to study university in Finland? And that's what I did. I was not sure, like, I don't know why, like making this video in 2021, it just seems that a lot of information can be found just from the internet and that I could just simply like Google something, but I had never traveled abroad before my exchange. My parents, like only my dad had traveled to the USA. Otherwise, my entire life and the life of my parents has been in Mexico. So making these kind of like big decisions as to let's go and study, like let's send our daughter to study to another country, it just felt that I really needed to come here and figure out all of the details. So and the situation just like contributed on its own. So I talked with my parents. And we made the decision in December 2011 that I wanted to come back and study university in Finland. So we got my plane tickets. I talked with my host, my host families from my exchange year. I asked if I could, I was going to come and visit, if I could stay with them. They were obviously happy to get me back and receive me and host me once more. So I came back. I was here for the most part of December and probably the beginning of January. I was also here. And I took all this time to really talk with my families. I talked with my counselor. When I was a Rotary exchange student, I had a counselor, study counselor or exchange counselor. Tula has been my angel in Finland. Tula has guided me with absolutely everything and helped me with absolutely everything. So she has been really an angel for me. While I was in this process throughout my exchange year and now as I have, been living in Finland. So the point is that I came in December 2011. I started talking with my families. I started talking with Tula, and something that came clear here was really this recommendation of coming back and actually study the full high school in Finland. High school was thought of being extremely good quality in Finland. I was able to study it in English because in the city where I did my exchange, which is Kuopio, you can study high school in English. And it just makes the process so much easier, according to my families, according to Tula. It was also going to give me better tools to later on continue into Finnish university education. So that was one point of view, that Finnish high school education is rewarded as extremely good. And I can 100% stand behind that statement, because even though this comes at the end, repeating high school was the best decision I could have ever done in my entire life. And it shaped so much of the person that I am nowadays. So that's a decision that I'll never regret, but it was not easy. So first of all was this recommendation that it might be easier for you to study high school here and then just eventually continue the university education. And I thought, well, let's keep in mind, people, that I just wanted a longer exchange. I was great that education is good because that's important for my parents. As I was 17 years old, for me, that was not super important. I mean, that was relevant because I didn't want to study in a country with not good education systems. But obviously that was not I just wanted a longer exchange. But in order for me to make it reasonable for my parents to want to spend that kind of money and support me economically in that way, it had to also make sense for them. So obviously in that sense, the very good education was what was extremely important for my parents to support me in this decision of me wanting to also live a longer exchange or live just many years more in Finland, experience Finland for a longer time. So basically, that was what I kind of got told by the people around me. And the thing is that it made sense because in Mexico, we get the high school diploma until July. So basically, back at the days, things have changed now for admissions in Finland, but back at the days, I would have had to graduate from a Mexican high school. I would have needed to translate my certificate into English, but then wait until the next year to actually apply to university. And the reason is because in that time, it was not possible, the Finnish applications for universities in Finland. I think I said it wrong, but anyhow, the application period, if you want to study in a Finnish university in an international program, it's in January. So in January, I would be in my third year of high school and I wouldn't have my papers ready. And back at the time in 2011, it was not possible to apply from abroad if you didn't have your degree. Now it is possible because you just can ask from your high school certificate that, yeah, you're going to graduate this summer. But back in those days, that was not possible. So that to start with would mean that I would need to wait an extra year doing I don't know what in Mexico while I wait for the entrance exam in January and deal with all this paperwork of translating my diploma. So that's already 1 year. And then it was the fact that, when I was talking with my parents and I expressed this possibility of, okay, I don't want to repeat high school, because I honestly didn't want to repeat high school. I was thinking like, oh my God, people are going to look at me and think that I'm a loser, or they're going to like look at me and what are they going to say? Like, what is this going to say? And what is this going to tell about my person? Like, I don't want to be the girl that is like stayed stuck 6 years in high school. And that was like, really hard. Like, how am I going to explain this to people? It was so heavy on me. It was not an easy decision. That's the point I want to make. But, in Mexico, there's like private and public education. And my dad told me that he was not going to pay like a private university in Mexico. Like if I made the decision that I want to study university, my dad is very educational. Like, my dad is like education, the symbol of education. So he told me like, because I told him that people recommended me to, do the high school in Finland again, or like actually just to start over from high school in Finland. So my dad took that very, very seriously. And he was like, hey, Jade, if people are like already suggesting this, like this is something that we can support. Now, if you don't want, he told me that if I don't want to repeat high school, if I just want to finish my high school in Mexico and then wait a year and then apply to a Finnish university, he told me, if you don't get in, I'm not going to pay you a private university, because I am ready to support you and pay all of your high school years, all of your university years, if you are just ready to repeat high school. Or he told me, you can take the risk, you can save your years, save your time, and you can finish your high school in Mexico, try to apply to a Finnish university, but if you don't get in, like that's on you, because I'm not going to pay you a private university in Mexico. And I was like, what do you mean? I mean, guys, bear in mind, I was 17 years old. And for my dad, it just made sense. I mean, he was so right, because studying high school in Finland just helped me so much. I always studied in a private school in Mexico, which means that I always also had English lessons. And I started studying English since I was like very, very young, since I was 4 years old. But it's not the same to just study English than to actually speak it and study your subjects in English. So for me, really like studying my whole high school in English really gave me like a very, very strong foundation to then continue. But yeah, so basically on the one part, we had that, Finnish people were recommending me that it's better if you study the high school in Finland. Then it was my dad telling me that if people are telling you that, I'm like, we as a family are ready to support you in that decision. But if you decide to not do it, we're not going to pay you a private university in Mexico. And then it was the fact that, even if I wanted to finish my high school in Mexico, if I wanted to apply to a Finnish university, I would have to wait an entire year in order for me to be eligible to apply. And then I would, it's like, what if I don't get in? Then I have to wait another year to apply again. And at the end of the day, back in those days, I really didn't want to make my life in Finland. I just wanted a longer exchange. So really the fact that I was able to repeat high school, it just seemed like as a really good option. All of my family, like my parents, were super supportive with it. I had the chance to study in English in Kuopio in the International Baccalaureate program of Kuopion Liceo Lukio, or the Liceo of the city of Kuopio. And everything kind of like really like arranged on its own. And that would have given me all what I want. I wanted to have a longer exchange in Finland. And I wanted to also finish my high school. And studying in English also seemed like a really attractive possibility, because the International Baccalaureate, it's an international baccalaureate. And that, like, for example, the International Baccalaureate accepts 3 as their official languages: Spanish, French, and English. So Mexico being a Spanish-speaking country, I was studying already in the International Baccalaureate, but it was in Spanish. So I really was very, very attracted to the possibility of studying the International Baccalaureate in English. And that would save me, if ultimately I wanted to continue my education in Finland, as was the case, it just made things also like very, very much easier, because being myself in Finland, I was able to, not have to wait this year until I get my certificate, it gets translated, blah, blah, blah. It was just that I could just jump from Finnish high school to Finnish university, problem solved. And also Finnish universities, you finish the degree faster than in at least the international degrees. They last a shorter amount of period compared to Mexican universities. Back in those times, it was also free. So basically for my parents, it was equally expensive, if not a little cheaper, to have me studying in Finland rather than having me living in Mexico studying in a private university. So honestly, me studying my high school here, me studying my university here was cheaper or equal than having me studying in a private university in Mexico. And for here, it kind of because education was free, it just they just had to pay for, my bus, my living, my food, my rent, phone, internet, blah, 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 blah. But it was that was the cost for my full living, not just for, okay, we're paying for the education. So that was a huge ass reason. Now, personally, I really wanted to have a longer exchange in Finland because I had the most incredible summer. And even though there was, the academic reasons, it would be very dishonest for me to just say that there was just the academic reasons. When I was younger, or when I was 17 years old, I was a very emotional person. I think I'm still an emotional person, but for me, the most important thing in the world was love. And love would make me make crazy decisions. And there was also two more things that happened kind of in the perfect timing. And I just now really feel so grateful that it happened in the perfect timing. Because just when I was thinking that I wanted to study university in Finland, and when this possibility of, okay, shall you restart the high school in Finland came to my life, I had just broken up with this guy that I was dating in Mexico. So we literally had just broken up when all these possibilities came. And also I had an extremely amazing experience from Finland. I also had a guy that I met in Finland. Of course, there has to be the guy. Yeah. He was a friend of one of my Finnish brothers. And I called him my summer love because we literally it was the end of my exchange. It was summer and we had the most incredible summer love ever. We did all of the funnest things. We grilled together. We had we made fires next to the beach. We went on, just went around the whole city in motorcycle. I was holding him behind. We had an incredible time. We were not in a relationship. Because pointless to be in a relationship if I'm just going to go back in literally just few weeks away from Finland. But he was my summer love. He was an incredible man. He is an incredible man. And then, when I went back to Mexico, he started, I think he had before another girlfriend, and then he had another girlfriend later on, a different one. And then it was just when I came back to Finland that he kind of I guess that he broke up with the girl with whom he was or something like that. So as I was planning as all of these things were happening, that, okay, well, yes, I will, because, it's not that I just decide, okay, I want to study my high school in Finland and then all of a sudden I'm studying high school in Finland. No, I still had to prepare for the admissions exam. So when I made this decision in December 2011 that I was going to, apply for the high school in Finland, I had to still prepare for the application, especially having, my dad as the education figure that, you have to study and you have to prepare very good for the entrance examination for the international baccalaureate program in Finland. And this examination had an English test and a maths test. It also had a Finnish test, but it didn't apply for me because me no speak Finnish, so less at that time. So that did not concern me at all. So what I did is that I bought the books that Finnish students use during their secondary school. So during the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, I got like the maths book that they used, and I took them back with me to Mexico, and I just start, doing all the exercises. Yes, I was with the Google translator, like, what does this mean? Some marita verb. I was like, what? Lasque and all the sums and divisions. So I did all of the 3 books. Just to make sure that I was on the same level and I had the same knowledge in maths that Finnish students would otherwise have, because that's what they study in those years. So that's what I did. I stopped my high school in Mexico. It was like, all or nothing. Like, I had decided that I was going to make my high school here. So I was just fully focused on working on my entrance examination. I was studying these books. I went back to Mexico in January, and the entrance examination, if I remember right, it was in April of 2012. So I came back again to Finland, I believe, in March. I think I was like March and April, because when I came back for the second time, I actually was living with this summer love. Then we were an actual relationship. So with my Finnish boyfriend at the time, I stayed living at his parents for a little bit over a month. It was beautiful, an incredible experience. So that also was like a huge thing that it was the education part, but it was also the experience part. And the fact that I also had not only families, but at the time I had also a relationship, or a guy that I really, really liked in Finland. Eventually, we broke up before the entrance exam. Yes. So I can honestly say that those were different factors that contributed. It was the education factor. It was the summer love factor, but those were not the deciding issues for me at the end of the day, because we broke up before the entrance exam. I presented my entrance exam, and then it was July 2012 when the results came out. My Tula, my counselor, my angel, my Finnish education mom, she went to see the results from the high school. She saw that I was selected. She called me to my phone in Mexico. She told me like, "Oh my God, Hale, like, you are accepted." I don't remember. Maybe she just texted. Maybe she didn't call. I got to know from her straight. And she told me like, "Okay, so do you want to accept the place?" Because obviously they would send me the letter, but it would be too late to accept the place. And I told her like, yes, 100%. She made me the huge favor of confirming my study place in my name. And that's how everything happened. And by the time that I say yes to Finland, and by the time that I say, yes, I want to come back, I want to spend a longer time in here, this summer love did not exist anymore. In fact, I had a Mexican boyfriend already by that time, which was very funny. It's like, oh my God. He was like, I call him like the love of my life. We were already dating at that time, and I was like, well, listen, I really love our relationship, but there's this opportunity for me. And I was living this state of just changing countries according to where my boyfriend is, or where I am feeling like heartbroken. Like first I went on exchange because I wanted to go on exchange, but also because I had broken with one of my exes. Then I decided to come back to Finland, and one of the factors was like, oh my God, nice, because I have a summer love in Finland. And then I got accepted into high school, but I had already a boyfriend in Mexico, so I was like, we need to stop. We need to start making decisions solely based on what I want. And what I wanted is to have my longer exchange in Finland. So my ultimate decision to actually come back to Finland was not based in I have a boyfriend here or I don't have a boyfriend here, because as a matter of fact, my boyfriend was already in Mexico, was in a Mexican guy. So my decision to study here was ultimately not based on love relationship kind of topics. It was based on the fact that I really had an incredible exchange student year in Finland, and I wanted more about it. I wanted to get the international baccalaureate diploma. I wanted to spend more time with my Finnish families. Obviously, during the high school, I was not living anymore with my Finnish families, but I was visiting them very often, and they were always like a huge, huge, huge support in my life. But yes, so this was the decision. Honestly, there were like different factors. And if I would just sum everything up, it's that it started by me having an incredible experience in Finland. It was supported by the fact that it was very inconvenient to apply with a foreign high school because I would need to wait the year. The benefits of studying, repeating high school in Finland, which was the international baccalaureate, the European education, and the fact that I would get the chance to, just study in English and improve my English language by living 3 years only solely speaking in English, maybe learning Finnish, but that was not my priority. And that's why people get very weird out. It's like, wow, had a so long time in Finland and you don't speak Finnish. Well, I didn't came here to live. I didn't came here to stay. I literally just wanted a longer exchange. Hello world. Then it happened that I actually wanted to stay and live my life in Finland. That's the point where I was like, okay, well, I really need the language. But before that was not my intention. So Finnish language was not a priority. It was not in my to-do list of things. No, I was just fully focused on high school, which was extremely challenging. And well, yeah, then at the end, it was the fact that I had prepared I had all the support from my parents to study high school, to continue in a Finnish university, if that's something that I desired. And then I got the study place to study my high school here. And then everything kind of like just came together. I made my decision having a Mexican boyfriend. But after putting all this work and after seeing really like the support of my parents, the fact that I wanted to live more time in Finland, it was just like a no-brainer. And that's what ultimately brought me here. And that has been the best decision I've done in my entire life. Like, studying in the international baccalaureate program in Finland literally shaped so much of the person that I am at this point. My teachers from my high school were incredible. I just had maybe one teacher that was not really my style of a teacher, but that didn't mean that he was a bad teacher. We had incredibly good, amazing, well-prepared as teachers in our high school, in my high school. And I wouldn't be the person I am today if I wouldn't have studied in the high school that I studied. And I loved it with all my heart. I cannot speak other anything else than beautiful things about my years studying high school in Finland. So yeah. It was not an easy decision. There was a lot of shame. There was a lot of, hiding that I didn't want to tell people that, oh my God, I'm the girl that's repeating high school, mastering high school, bitches. But yeah, that's what happened. And I'm very happy to be where I am. I think, just last words, I think that ultimately it's really good when a person has the opportunity to, if not repeat high school, to do something else before directly applying to a university. Because when I look back, what's really the biggest thing that I got from repeating high school in Finland, it's the fact that it gave me more time before I had to make the decision of what do I want to study. By the time that I started high school in Finland, I was supposed to be done with my education in Mexico and going into a university instead of starting high school again. And to be honest, I don't think I was ready at that point to make such a decision and to see university the way I saw it compared, it made a huge difference for me as a person starting university at 21 instead of at 18. It bought me more time, and I think this time it's for me, and maybe for many others, but for me, it was critical because I knew I wanted to be a nutritionist, but I didn't want to make such a big decision yet also. So it also made my life easier, just knowing that I don't have to make such a decision by the age of 18. And I'm very happy with it. So yes, if you were wondering why did I decide to repeat high schools, those were the reasons. I'm so happy that things have changed already. Now you can apply to a Finnish university, even though you are not fully done with your high school in your home country, which I think it's beautiful. I don't see why is it so relevant that a person has to spend 1 year wandering around just because they cannot yet apply to the university. So that has changed, and I'm extremely happy for that. And yeah, but good experiences in Finland. It's what drove me and made me have such a huge desire to come back here. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about why did I decided to repeat my high school in Finland. In my next video, I'm gonna keep talking about the 100 things that I love about Finland. In case you have not seen those, there's already out part 1 and 2. And later on, I'm also going to make a video about what was my experience studying high school in Finland, because that's also a very beautiful experience and something that really defined a lot of who I am at this point, and something that I really look forward to sharing with you. But until then, I hope you're having an incredibly good day, and I hope that everything's good, everything's beautiful, and that you keep enjoying of your day, morning, evening, whenever is it that you're watching me, and I hope to see you in my next video. So until then, see you. Bye.